Welcome to the final stage of this path of Contra Hardcore. I don't think he's really running, Brownie. Now that the doctor's taken care of by his own weapons, the soldier comes in, gives a little salute before breaking the news. I do like that. I don't typically like it when Hardcore tries to be funny, but that little salute makes me laugh. Well, who'd have thought that genetically engineering or playing with an alien cell would have led to such disastrous results? I would never have seen it coming. Anyway, this is typically known as Stage 5A. Whoa. The numbering's a little off. Some people don't consider the Doctor an actual stage, but going by the stage clear, it's technically 6. Regardless, the music is friggin' wonderful. I like the challenges in it. Far and away, I think this is the most solid level, and it's a great one to end on. This is really like a saving the best for last type of thing. That said, this boss is just... he's a little self-explanatory. He has those 2 attacks. He'll approach you after he stops shooting, and you want to kill him before he runs into you. Brownie's A weapon, remember how I kept saying about how I didn't think it'd be great for crowd control? It comes to roost here. You do not have time to turn around, so you have to stop shooting, turn around, and shoot again. Otherwise the lag is absolutely going to kill you. This mini-boss is known as Java, I found out. He is the embryo-spitting mini-boss from Contras 1 and 3, except now he moves a little more, and he has a little attack where his arm reaches out towards you. Easy to jump over. Here come the mouths. They're not nearly as bad as they were in Contra 3. As you can see, there's 1 projectile at a time, and they move much slower. I mentioned the music being excellent. That's a little rare for Genesis games. Apparently, while the Genesis audio chip was completely fine, and the dev kits that Sega sent out to developers, apparently the audio kits on them were just awful, so a lot of developers couldn't figure out how to make good music on the Genesis. As you can see, though, as you can hear, Konami didn't have that problem. Now we're entering the egg room. The music goes to the traditional mini-boss music. And this is supposed to be the alien queen from Contra 3 and the end of Super C for the NES. And you know what? You had me and you lost me, Hardcore. I was really getting into the stage with the whole, like, bio-horror crap going on. It was totally Contra, but that bouncing attack was just silly. From a gameplay perspective, it's interesting, and I love this rain attack more than I do in Contra 3. He shoots more bullets, and they travel at a slower rate, so they're easier to deal with. It's more fair. Contra 3 had a little bit of a random factor, and you had to watch and get used to the arc of fire, but... at any rate, he ends with a goofy rolling attack that's easy to dodge. The music comes back, and we're back on track. And we have something coming up that's a little unique to Contra. Sorry, Brownie's looking at me, because I got a little distracted. But anyway... this is sort of a puzzle. The idea is these spiders that do look now very different from face huggers for the first time, are crawling on the walls, and there's this big munching mouth. And the idea is that there's no more spiders for it to eat, it'll come down and home in on you. I don't really think you can dodge it, so the trick is you want to try to leave a spider or 2 alive for the mouths. The only suggestion I'd maybe have, in designing this, is maybe get a mouth before this auto-scrolling vertical shaft, just so the player gets used to what the challenge is. Because your first time through, it's kind of not apparent what you're supposed to be doing. Especially because you're destroying all the spiders, so this thing just comes down to eat you, and you're like, what? Until you see it eat a spider, and you figure out, oh, okay, I gotta leave some alive. Anyway, I'm getting a bomb ready for this boss, because this boss has a cheap attack that I want to get rid of. You'll see what it is in a minute. This is Red Falcon, with a very strange form. She has these 2 arms, and what I don't like is the claws will shoot down a lightning bolt, and sometimes they go off screen and you can't tell where it's coming from. But at any rate, she also spawns those little blue mouth things. But once you've used the bomb and got rid of the arms, they're pretty easy to take care of. I don't know how I feel about this design for Red Falcon compared to the others, but it's, it works. It doesn't seem like Red Falcon. I'm not even sure that's correct to call it. Now it's time for the final boss, the Alien Heart, which is much different from the other Contra games. Mostly these 2 iPod things are what you're going to be contending with. They rotate faster and faster. Brownie's double jump makes not a big problem. He has 3 attacks. The second one, you're not going to get to see. They bounce around on screen connected by a chain, and the third one, they kind of clop around. You just have to fit between them. It's not quite as epic an ending as Contra 3. I hate to use that word just because it's become such a meme, but that is, I guess, the best way to put it. It's not as awesome per se, but I think it worked really well, and I liked it for a final level. Really well done, Hardcore. So we get one of 4 major endings in the game, not counting the secret ending, which Muhammad escapes to fight another day. And I like this ending credits music too, actually. It is pretty good. Since I have 4 endings to talk, more credit sequences to talk through, I've been thinking a lot about Contra 3 versus Hardcore. And it's tough to compare the 2 games, and I think a lot of reviewers and people who try to do it kind of get into like a Genesis versus Super Nintendo argument, which is, it's kind of pointless, I mean, those console fights never ever go anywhere. This is what I think though. Contra 3, I feel like, is more solid, meaning that I know the overhead stages aren't great, but they're not awful either. Everything about Contra 3 I like a lot. I think it's all very good. Hardcore, I think, is spikes. It has peaks and valleys, Some things it does do much better than Contra 3. Oh, just Helpman and Nice Guy, by the way. My favorite staff members. I think Helpman's like a really terrible Mega Man robot boss. I'm sorry, somebody in the thread said we should make jokes about that, so here, have one. Have one, buddy. At any rate, Hardcore's more peaks and valleys to me. I think the end of Stage 4 in Hardcore, the jungle, I don't like the latter half at all. I think it totally dragged it down, but the rest of the level's good. I think this final level is really well done, except for the bouncing attack that the Alien Queen Spider thing did, and the little rolling attack was kind of silly too. I think that's just it. Hardcore tries to be its own thing, and I guess for me, loving Contra 3 so much, I maybe would have liked it if I could just have more Contra 3. And later games like Shattered Soldier attempt it to bring it back to that. Contra 4 for the DS, certainly. I like that game a lot. But Hardcore was tried to, stand up, be its own man, you could say, or its own game. And it's just a little different. Maybe that's the issue I have. Maybe I'm just looking at Contra 3 with rose-colored glasses and saying this different direction is not sitting well just because it's change. But in summary, it is very good. I'm still partial to 3. Maybe some of the other final stages I'll encounter will change my mind on that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really think it's a case of one is better or worse than the other. I just think they're kind of different enough that you have to appreciate them on sort of different levels, if that makes any sense. But that said, by the way, the Stage 4 jungle boss, that laser attack, that is total fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. Anyhow, that's Hardcore, and I'll see you next time when we try another path.